Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chicago Fire's latest revelation spells trouble for Carver and Violet's love story. Sam Carver, Jake Lockett, has caught absolutely no breaks in Chicago Fire Season 13. One could argue the character has had the roughest season of anyone not named Chief Dom Pascal, Dermot Mulroney, between his love life and his personal struggles. Still, there is hope for the fan-favorite firefighter. Carver is coming back in the anticipated episode Post-Mortem, an undoubtedly bleak title and story to return to, but we are eager to see how the firefighter acclimates nonetheless. He was keen to kick his drinking habit last we saw him, and 51 chatter during his absence confirmed that he had checked himself into a rehab facility. Carver's troubles are not behind him, however. Chicago Fire showrunner Andrea Newman confirmed the character was back in action, but she made it clear something was going to be different about him. What will the something be? Well, she decided to keep that under wraps. Carver will be back in the next few episodes, Newman told TV Line, but he's coming back with a surprise. A surprise could be a positive change, but in the world of Chicago Fire, personal demons are not defeated in the span of a couple weeks. The character has always been tortured, whether looking back on his childhood or his toxic relationship with Tori, Holly Hinchcliffe. The notion that he's now fixed is a silly one, so we are choosing to interpret the surprise as something that's going to be a source of additional drama in the firehouse, especially in relation to Violet Hanako Greensmith. Violet has a romantic history with Carver, obviously, and her decision to confront the character over what she suspected was drinking on the job ultimately led to his leave of absence. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, and the medic has carried the guilt over the confrontation ever since. Violet even attempted to convey her feelings in the form of a letter. We suspect that whatever shape Sam Carver comes back in will pose some complications for his potential reconciliation/romance with Violet. The two characters have always had tension when they were an item, and one can only assume their experiences over Season 13 had added to said tension. We know Violet still has feelings for Carver, despite dating someone else, just as we know Carver has feelings for her. Jake Lockett confirmed this belief during a 2024 interview with TV Line. I think it'd be hard to walk away from that and, in a couple months, just completely be over something like that. He said about his character, "That's something that, in my opinion, would take a little time. Some time has passed, but we suspect that we are far from the end of the complicated Carver and Violet story." Firehouse 51 has never been short on heat. Whether it's the blazes they extinguish or the emotional fires they navigate within their own walls, but the latest revelation on Chicago Fire has ignited a different kind of spark, one that threatens to scorch the budding love story between Sam Carver and Violet Mikami. Their chemistry has been undeniable this season, but what began as a tentative flirtation is now teetering on the edge of heartbreak, and the truth behind that danger might shake 51 to its core. It all started with a late-night call involving a suspicious warehouse blaze. Carver and Kidd were first on the scene, and while the fire was controlled quickly, Carver couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. He mentioned it in passing to Violet, who offered her usual dry wit and a comforting pat on the shoulder. They laughed it off in the locker room, the tension melting for a moment as Violet leaned in closer, their connection palpable. But that light moment didn't last long. The next day, Stella brought Carver a report from arson. It turns out that the fire wasn't random. Evidence pointed toward it being an inside job, possibly linked to someone in the department. And when Carver recognized a name buried deep in the report, his blood ran cold. It was paramedic Chief Hawkins' younger brother, the same Hawkins whose tragic death still lingers in Violet's heart like embers under ash. Carver now faced an agonizing choice: stay silent and protect Violet from a truth that could destroy her, or come forward, risking their fragile bond. He tried to act normal, even joked with Violet during a quiet shift, but the worry etched into his face betrayed him. Violet noticed immediately. "You look like you've seen a ghost," she said, eyes narrowing. That night, Carver sat alone in Molly's, sipping a beer and weighing his options. The truth was heavy. If Hawkins' brother was involved, it would not only reopen old wounds for Violet but could entangle her in a scandal with political fallout. His instinct was to protect her, but deep down, he knew that shielding her from the truth might destroy the very trust their relationship was built on. Violet, meanwhile, wasn't blind to the distance growing between them. She confided in Brett, her closest friend and fellow paramedic, about Carver's odd behavior. Brett, ever intuitive, suggested that maybe Carver wasn't pulling away because he was afraid of commitment, but because he was carrying something heavy. Sam doesn't do secrets well, Brett said. If he's holding back, it's probably because he thinks he's doing the right thing, even if he's dead wrong. Violet decided to confront him directly. In the stillness of the bunk room, long after the others had gone home, Violet found Carver sitting in the dark, staring at a copy of the arson report. He didn't even flinch when she spoke. "You owe me the truth, Sam. Whatever it is, you don't get to decide what I can or can't handle." The silence between them was deafening before Carver finally stood up, his voice low. "They think Hawkins' brother might be tied to that fire," he said, handing her the report. "I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to hurt you." Violet's expression shifted from confusion to horror. "You think his brother set that fire?" Carver nodded. "There's no proof yet, but if it's true, there's going to be a storm, Violet. Media, investigations, questions about why you didn't disclose a connection. I wanted to spare you from all of that. But by keeping this from me," she said, voice shaking, "you made the choice for me. Don't you get that?" The fallout was immediate. Violet walked out of the bunk room without another word. For the next several shifts, she kept her distance, professional but icy. Carver threw himself into work, doubling down on risky rescues, trying to bury the ache of watching her slip away. Even Severide pulled him aside and told him to cut the cowboy act before he got someone hurt or worse himself. At Molly's, the rest of the team speculated. Some thought it was a lover's quarrel. Others suspected something darker. Ritter, always the emotional barometer of the group, summed it up best. "When people care about each other this much, the truth always finds a way out, but it doesn't always leave the same people behind." Meanwhile, Violet did her own digging. She contacted a friend in arson investigation and got the raw case files. What she found confirmed her worst fears. There was evidence implicating Hawkins' brother, though it was circumstantial and inconclusive. But it was enough to know Carver hadn't been lying. He had tried, in his own misguided way, to protect her. Eventually, Violet returned to the bunk room where it all fell apart. She found Carver exactly where she left him, sitting alone, eyes heavy with regret. "I read the file," she said. "You were right, but you were also wrong. If we're going to make this work, Sam, we can't lie to each other. Not about anything." Carver stood, unsure if he should speak or wait. Violet stepped closer. "I don't know what's going to happen next. With the case. With us. But I'm not going to run away from this, and neither are you." The two stood in silence for a beat. No grand kiss. No dramatic embrace. Just understanding and a fragile thread of hope. But this is Chicago Fire, and peace never lasts long. Because as the episode ended, a new revelation hit. Another fire, this one with the same calling card as the last, had just erupted. And this time, it wasn't Hawkins' brother's name on the report. It was someone from 51. Violet and Carver may have taken the first step back toward each other, but the road ahead is treacherous. With arson, betrayal, and grief looming like smoke in the air, their love story isn't just in jeopardy, it's heading straight into the fire. Are you interested in exploring what happens if the next suspect is someone even closer to Violet or Carver?